give you a brief, Youth India Foundation is India's largest social entrepreneurship platform where we focus on bridging the gap between science and innovation with social service and welfare. It is our mission to provide permanent solutions to those in need, and we will strive till the very end to help bring about a change. Today, we are going to have with us Dr. S.K. Nanda, who's a retired IAS officer and also one of the most renowned in his field. Dr. Nanda will talk with us about professional success and also about what we call as career building. It would be an absolute honor to have him with us today, and I really hope that all Hello, everyone. My name is Ashwin Chaturvedi, and I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of Youth India Foundation. To give you a brief, Youth India Foundation is India's largest social entrepreneurship platform where we focus on bridging the gap between science and innovation with social service and welfare. It is our mission to provide permanent solutions to those in need, and we will strive till the very end to help bring about a change. Today, we are going to have with us Dr. S.K. Nanda, who's a retired IAS officer and also one of the most renowned in his field. Dr. Nanda will talk with us about professional success and also about what we call as career building. It would be an absolute honor to have him with us today, and I really hope that all of you have a wonderful, fun-filled, as well as wisdom-filled session today. Thank you. Now, I would like to call upon our founder and chairman, Mr. Shubhankar Nanda, to enlighten us with his words.
Good evening, everyone. It's a real honor for me to be over here with all of you, to address all of you on such a special occasion. Thanks a lot to our host for giving such a grateful introduction to me. And I don't know if I deserve it, but I'll still accept it. So, what do we understand from Gandhi Jayanti? Every time I meet my audience, I just want to have a discussion sort of a thing, or otherwise I just want to discuss some ideas as to what are we doing over here and why do we celebrate all of this. So in Youth India, we celebrate these significant occasions because they hold some true value, because of which this is embedded so deeply in our social system. So why do we celebrate Gandhi Jayanti? Of course, we celebrate it for the man who made this country, who's the father of India, and the man who has led us to freedom. But we learn a lot of other things from Gandhiji. The main thing I believe that today's session will let you know, or we want it to lead towards, is freedom at an individual level. How to free ourselves from all the conventions that we set up in our mind, that this is where we are confined to be, this is where we are supposed to be, and we can't take another step beyond that. And that is the first thing, or the most important thing, which our parents, our grandparents, or anyone around us puts in our heads, that is career. Career is something which everyone is trifled with in their school days, college days, after college days, and some people even long after that. They still don't know if they made the right choice or not. And today we have such an esteemed guest with us. His importance or his significance for this event is for two very, very key important things. Number one, that he's from the land of the great person whose life we are celebrating today, that is Gujarat. He has served in Gujarat for more than 30 years. Secondly, he is from such a service which everyone in India aspires to become at least once in their whole life. That is the coveted Indian Administrative Services. Everyone thinks that, yes, this is the thing that can make our life the best life possible. It's the best job in the world. In my opinion, it truly is. But is there another side to that? Is the IAS not that happening or not that satisfactory for some people? Or is it something that people do for their whole life and then they realize maybe they could have done something else? We have Dr. S.K. Nanda over here, former Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Gujarat, who is going to shed some light on how IAS is a really, really brilliant job, brilliant service for people who are actually wanting to be an IAS officer, who have that current caliber to become an IAS officer, and most importantly, who are interested to become an IAS officer. You should not join the UPSC or the IAS just because it's that glorious or it's looking so beautiful and it showcases you the joy of life. But you should choose IAS officer because you want to serve the nation. You want to give back to the country that has been created by one of the greatest people that are to be known in the history, Mr. Gandhi. So, do we make these decisions in our life that we want to become an IAS officer, we want to join the medical, we want to become an engineer, just because we want to do that, or do we do it because of social conventions? That's a question that I will leave it upon all of you to think about. I myself struggled with that kind of an issue. I always wanted to become a social entrepreneur. That's what I am today. But the journey to that has been tremendously full of ups, downs, lots of failures, lots of successes, lots of support, but a lots of discouraging events that have happened around. And at the end of it, I realized that we need to first understand, explore ourselves before we take any decision. Everyone else around the world should not matter. It's you who should give freedom to yourself first. And that's what today's evening is all about. To the man who taught us how we should liberate ourselves from being ruled by someone else through such a big picture that is our country, India, and has given us the freedom that we enjoy today. We must understand the back side of it, that before Gandhiji made India independent, he made himself independent. Independent of society's conventions, independent of the rules, laws which were put upon him, the independence that he got by asking questions, by asking for his rights. And at the core of it, I want all of you, whosoever has joined today's event, to take that value in you, to realize that from Gandhiji and our guest, that how should we free ourselves from these kind of restrictions that are put upon ourselves in our heads, and go beyond that to actually truly find our cause, our calling, and then work towards that. Doesn't matter if it's a BTech, it's a BBA, it's a BA, it's a medical, you should work towards your goal through whatever measure, whatever procedure, whatever way that you can find. And that will lead you to success, happiness, and contentment. So I hope that you guys enjoy today's session. There are a lot of questions that you will be getting to ask, sir. I hope that he's able to answer all of them, and he will truly be able to do so. And I hope that you guys are able to get all your answers today. And we at Youth India wish you a very happy Gandhi Jayanti, and we hope that we can keep bringing these kind of inspirational talks, inspirational messages, inspirational people over here in front of you to help you, guide you throughout your life. And that's what Youth India does. And that's how I would like to end my talk over here, and I would like to hand it over to our host. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shubhankar, for your words. And it was really exciting indeed to hear about your vision and your aim for your organization. We really wish you all the best. The wait is finally over as we now decide to call upon our chief guest for the event, Dr. S.K. Nanda. Sir, if you would please join us.
Thank you so much. I hope the beneficiaries of the program and the people who are attending basically in the youth group and the students, isn't it?
Yes, sir. They'd be college students, the youth, sir.
Yeah, a youth, basically a person who is young and who is in the 18 to 29 group of age, is more bothered today about what is he up to and what is he going to do, what is he going to achieve. So basically, he is more concerned with the what you call the career graph. My only point before we start the inter discussion is that anywhere, whatever career we choose, that choosing has to be done. The choice has not to be done by compulsion or by chance. It has to be absolutely by choice. So career has to be completely designed and completely thought of, not due to parents, not due to any chance appointment or chance offer which he gets and he gets it. It has to be completely his choice. Otherwise, his engagement with the job or the engagement to the career will be the minimum. Because, as you know, success is not because ultimately, whenever he is in any career or in any job or in any situation, he is going to first principally see how much of delight and how much of satisfaction, how much of happiness he gets out of that association, which we call in modern management as engagement. So if he is divorced, if there is an internal separation between what he does and how he feels, or what he achieves and what he should have achieved, this kind of dichotomy should not be allowed to develop from the day one. So always I say that let's not be governed by the conventional classificational advice which we normally get from the parents, that either you go for civil services, or you go for the engineering, or you go for the medical, as if there is no world beyond these three worlds and everything in the world is completed confined to all these three worlds. So that is the problem with which our own children they grow up, and that is the mindset with which we have been seeing a lot of suicides taking place, lot of stress happening, lot of depression setting in our careers of different young people who are otherwise very bright. I have seen a lot of people. I'm giving this conclusion across the board after having seen a lot of people who have gone through these experiences. So my point is that the career has to have such a path that it should have a milestone. You should always be able to set milestones. We need not be first always. We need not let us not hanker after first, or getting into a position of first class first, or let's not getting into the topmost top. We should get into a position of how much I am unique to the whole system. So let's believe in creativity. Let's try to see that we are unique by ourselves. Let's not always follow the traditional route of saying that we are on the top. This topping business or following the topping model or toppers model has probably let us down in a lot of ways. Though coincidentally, I have my own career which is um, almost first class first every time. But I never thought that I will be first class first. I would always say that yes, I have done a lot of labor, I have done a commitment, but I have my own ways of thinking, I have my own ways of representing, I have my own ways of expression and communication, and probably has been rewarded. Let me not say that yes, I deserved it. Let me not say that I wanted to get it. That kind of expression, probably if anyone is doing, he is doing a bluff. So everyone is brilliant by ourselves, by every standard. The degree of difference between you and me is like a distinction without a difference. So there is hardly any kind of difference between all of us. Only point is that how you present yourself, what is that uniqueness in which you write, what is the unique point in which you impress. That is very important. So that is what I'm trying to say, that any career goal setting or career counseling or any career fixation, we have to have our own benchmarks or we have to have our own milestones. Secondly, wherever we are and whenever we are traveling like a roadway, like a pathway, career is a pathway. We should always look back, not always look forward. We should always look back what you were, let's say, a year before, what you were a year after now, and try to console in the fact that yes, we have been able to get up or grow up. This kind of mental side satisfaction has to be there. Otherwise, these are the all mental impulses. These are the hidden agents of hidden persuasion. which makes a man to move ahead. You just cannot be routinely saying that no, I will be at equal par with everyone. Comparison should be completely avoided. Getting into positions of equality with others and copying them and imitating them and cut and paste kind of situations in which he has done well and therefore I should do well are probably things which normally people do, which have to be avoided. So I completely am of the opinion that career uh, guidance has to be given in a manner in which people should choose their own careers based on their aptitude, based on their involvement, based on their interest, and the amount of the what you call absorption which he can do with that area. A man who is trying to do well in music or who is trying to do well in painting, if he is told to join a class of chemistry because he has done very good mathematics, probably I think we are giving the most worst advice in his life to in his life. See, every every individual has to have his own prima facie, his own place where he can excel, and that he knows himself. Some people they know that we are good in communication. Some people know that they are very good in risk taking. Some people know that they are very good in writing. Some people also know that they are very good in managing what you call the what you call today the Jugaad management theories. They can coordinate well, they can speak well, they can make people they can put impressions, his own impressions on the people's mind. Some people are good at it. Let's discover our own good points and let's try to build on that points and let's try to reorient our entire careers on the basis of these points. This discovery uh, process has to be assisted by our guides, what you call gurus, what you call the parents. But unfortunately, we don't find such people because they suffer from a short vision or they suffer from a short sightedness of seeing only things in their own eyes, which probably should suit the others. So, the first advice I would like to give to the youth is that you must be quite independent minded in choosing career. Not only that because you will have a film, therefore you will see a film. No, based on an in-depth analysis of your own attributes, doing a SWOT analysis of your own habits, of your own character, like how much of you can memorize, how much you have got your strong points, what are the weaknesses you are having, what are the opportunities you can really have, what are your strong points which you can excel. This has to be discovered. I think at the age of 18 to 19, a man should start or a woman should start probably trying to take a relook or he should recap on what he is and how he is. This probably cannot be looked at the age of 15, but as he progresses beyond the age of 18 and henceforward he goes up, he should start having a developing a conscious mind of finding out where he is and how he should be able to do. That analysis has to be done through a little bit of a guidance, and that analysis has to be completely assisted by our own guides and well-wishers. You know that very big anecdote of that burning house, which people always quote. A fellow had a big house, he had gone on leave. When he came to know that his house was being completely in flames and it was in inferno, and this house is completely destroyed, he thought that probably his neighbors must have done it, and his neighbors must have done it, and therefore the house has got into flames. So this person never wanted to sell his house to any neighbor, but he always wanted that he should have his own house completely for himself and his own family. So when he saw that house was in flames, he felt very bad. But the son who came, he says, "No, sir, no, father. This house which you see today in flames, we have already had an agreement to sell and I have taken the money from the buyer." Then the father felt no sigh of relief. He said, "There is no, then I will be like an onlooker. I need not feel depressed." So he started looking at a different route. The second son came and told him that no, we have taken money, but it is only an advance money. We have not taken the full money. So again he started feeling again depressive, and again he started what to do about it and that thing. The third fellow said, the third son who's there, He says, no, the buyer of the house says that it is not in our hands that the house has fallen into this kind of situation. And whether it is now dead or living house, he says, and he is of the opinion that he will pay the money because there was a deal struck and he has to honor his commitment. Again, the father comes back, swings back to a different mood and thinks for the first time that no, there's nothing to feel bad about it, and at least I'll be saved. So this anecdote I'm using to say that as you think, you accordingly get the reactions. The first reaction was wrong, was absolutely depressive because he felt that the house has no future and he has completely doomed. The first son says that he has taken an advance and therefore he feels little more relieved and he doesn't get into a situation. The second son comes back and says that no, we have taken an advance, but not full payment is there. So again he feels that he goes back to the mood of trance and depression. The third child comes and says that no, this fellow has changed his mind and he will go by his commitment. So this is normally an another to show that as you think, so you behave. So the behavior is absolutely dependent on what you think and how you think. So this thinking and is conditioned by circumstances. But sometimes we have to simulate such thinkings. We have to simulate that we are in a situation of distress and how do you come out of it. Mathematics does not teach addition of happiness or what you call minus of sadness. It may not be saying that how to add happiness and how to subtract the what you call the sadness. But definitely mathematics teaches that every problem has got a solution. So that solution, so it means there is no solution which doesn't have a problem and there is no problem which does not have a solution. So the boy has to be, or the girl has to be completely conscious of the fact there is nothing depressing. There has to be a solution to every problem. And then if the God has given me a problem, there has to be a solution. Let me find it out. Let me not get so much worked up on it that I will be able to lose my peace of mind. Most of the students in my age, when I was in college, they used to get so worked up on these points that they used to probably get into wrong habits. They used to get into wrong advices. But I always used to say that this is not a problem. This problem must have happened not with you, must have happened to some thousands of people. So those thousands of people must have got out of it. Like that, you will get out of it. So you accept the fact that it has happened. And the problem has to have a solution. This kind of cool mind approach of accepting a problem, analyzing it, and then finding out solutions should not be lost sight of. Most of us, we get into problems because we do not try to appreciate a problem, and we always go to God whenever we are in problem. But whenever we get every success, we never go to God. When I stood first or you stand first, you don't go to God saying that thanking that you made me God, you made me stand first. But when you suppose you bunk off or you do bad, then you go to temple saying that you must help me to doing it. So as if that is a clearing house for your own problems. So the point I want to say is that clearing house is in your mind and everything is in your hand, and you should have a conscious, absolutely fresh, vibrant mind to analyze the thing and never get it colored by anyone, and don't allow the brush of any colors to paint your mind, accepting your own analytic tools which should be able to bring out the conclusions in that. So my own advice to the youth and the young people would be that in order to do well in life, there are three things to do very well. One is you must have knowledge. And once the information is there, then the confidence building will take place. Once the confidence building is taking place, then you will be able to do communication. And once the communication is able to do it, is taking place, then you will be able to do exhibition of your own self, of your own personality, what you call the body language expressions. But if we don't have knowledge, if we don't have information, if we don't share it, if we don't try to express it, if we don't bring it to the face or the society or on the outside the portals of my house, probably even a gold or a diamond would not be even recognized. Even if I keep a store, a gold and a diamond under the earth, unless I dig it, you will not be able to find out it, and you cannot recognize it to be gold or a diamond. You will feel it's a black stone. So you have to do digging. That is, you have to do a lot of labor to see that you are able to achieve that goal. So goal setting has to be there, and for that you must know how to do it, when to do it, which way to do it, and why to do it. All these W's, why, how, which, and when. This question should be asked, and that will be answered by your brain power, and that brain power is nothing but your knowledge power. And that knowledge power would automatically give you a sheet of information sheet, what you call the spreadsheet in your mind, and that spreadsheet of mind would be able to take you to the shores of knowledge, which will be able to get you into the success boat. And unless you take some risks, unless you take some ventures, unless you take some adventure, you will not be able to get out. No one can sail on a boat unless he leaves the shore. You cannot test the waters of a river or a sea unless you leave the shores, the happy, cozy, and the comforting shores of the seashore. You have to leave that shores into the deep sea to get into the sea voyage. So you have to have some ventures. You cannot say that no, I don't want to take that risk. But that guarded risk has to be guarded, has to be guided by the brain power. So I always try to say that the human power has to have to meet the problems, and that brain power would be only possible if we have the knowledge power, and the knowledge power would give you information, and information is a weapon and tool. And with that information, weapon, and tool, we'll be able to do a lot of communication. It will automatically will start developing communication, and that communication will give you a sense of transparency, a sense of confidence and comfort level, and also it will lead you out of or take you out of the levels of bankruptcy in case you are. Some people say that I am not wealthy enough. So once you start encashing these positive attributes, so that will be traded and encashed in the market, and you will start making money. So once you start making money or encashing your own attributes of your knowledge, power, information, communication, and your own attributes in their own unique way, in your own creative way, in your own innovative way, which you are, and little taking ventures, little taking adventures, little taking risk-taking behavior, automatically it will take you out of bankruptcy in case you are having. Because people, I don't know what is the level of bankruptcy people think of. If they don't well at par with others, they call it bankrupt. But I never consider myself as bankrupt, because I know that my salary and everything, if it is able to take care of my own home and give me a comfort level and a it comforts my mind, and it gives you a confidence level to see that my children can grow up. I think that is enough for me to see and to sell through. So it all depends how you receive it and how you think it. So my own another point is that these are the tools in which they have to go through it. And career choosing again will be dependent on a lot of variables about the knowledge. Once you have the knowledge, you will be able to find out which kind of career you are going to. Are you going to the commercial art, or you want to go into the animation world, or are you going into the geographical or the hydrological investigation, or whether you are going into some kind of a space related kind of things, whether you are connected with any kind of metallurgical things, in case you are in engineering where you think that you are very good at it. Are you interested in the social sciences in which you are concerned with the sociology or the or the anthropology of the people in which nothing has been done? Are you interested in the role economics, or where you will be able to take care of the problems? Do you want to take agriculture as a career in which you can do agro business, and also you can add valuation to the agriculture, which is absolutely underutilized? So there is the sky is the limit for finding out which options we should take it. And no option would ever guarantee you that you will be always assured of some return. Even the people who get into the Indian administrative services or Indian police services, they get so much battered, they get so much horrified for some mistakes which they do deliberately or in complicity. Their entire career is at stake. So when the reputation in a career of an office career of a civil servant, what is more important as a capital is not money, but it's a reputation. Because the image of the person flies faster than the physical person flying to that place next. So the image and the reputation are tools which make the civil servant perform, and that gives him the credibility and the legitimacy to do well. But in other places, it is the brick and mortar which is important. How much of money you have got, how much of capital you have got, how much of banks interactions you have got, how much of connections you have got, what kind of technology you have got, which makes you to do well. So it all depends on what lens we do it. So it's not that everyone will definitely always have a guarded and career every time, unless we are very conscious of what we are doing. So one has to be very conscious of what he is doing, when he is doing, how is he doing, which way he is doing, and what are the limitations of doing it. Are there better options to it? If there are better options, where he can get some advice on it or not. Are there people who can advise on it? He should not himself attempt that he is the be all and end all of all problems. Certain people get into problem situations because they think that they are the subjanta. They think that they are the people who are the master of everything, and they get into positions of disreputation, or what you call bankruptcy, or into kinds of any kind of situations in which people would not be able to ready to help them out. So all these I'm talking generally based on certain internal analysis of what you are, how you are, and what you should choose for. And a youth is a person who should have the imagination to ignite him, the knowledge to back him, the kind of communication through which he can be able to develop himself into a better individual. He should have an aptitude for innovation. He should be like a parachute, always opening, like a parachute opens up in the sky. He should be having an open-mindedness. He should never have a preset mind, never have a biased mind. He should never have a prefixed mind. There should be no set parameters in his mind which will not allow him to think beyond what he should think. So he should keep his windows open of the mind. He should be able to express his own self to people. He should be frank enough and brutally frank enough in saying what he needs. He should be completely conscious of his own disabilities and abilities. Disabilities means shortcomings. Where he is wrong, you cannot say, suppose a man does not know how to speak properly. You cannot say, no, I will start now speaking properly, I will be able to do. Because ultimately, it's to always see to it that the motivation is given to the people with whom failure is an orphan child. So you cannot do that thing because you are getting away from it. So these are the basic things. It's the team approach which is important. And we have to always see to it that the motivation is given to the people with whom we work. You cannot take the entire credit, and you cannot take the entire, like we say, success as many fathers and all. Often failure is an orphan child. So you cannot do that thing because if you do it, then people will start alienating from you and getting away from you. So these are the basic things I thought of telling the young people at this age, because if they are conscious of all these points which I'm talking, 100% I'm sure we'll be able to do a little better than us, what we are thinking.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a very insightful session indeed. Sir, I am really intrigued by your speech and I had a few questions in mind. With your
Sure,
permission, if I may ask, sir.
sure.
So my first question is that you mentioned about bright students going through depression and adopting to ways like suicide, which is very common practice nowadays between
Yeah.
the youth. And you also beautifully mentioned how we should always embrace the problems and look for solutions instead of being stuck in the problems. So how important is it, sir, to club both of these and to make the youth understand that this is not the end and to prevent them from resorting to problems like suicide?
See, I think the best way of dealing with these people is to do mentoring. Mentoring is possible only when this fellow starts having some signs of such kind of a thinking. And the fellow who is next to him should be able to caution him or caution the people who are with him to see that he is mentored properly. And always I was trying to tell you that I had a session in the with the parents of the boys and girls in Ahmedabad Management Association 6 7 years before, where I mentioned that it is the parents who are the cause of this enter depression, because they set the the setting goal for the students. They are the people who set the goals, and they tell their children to go through. It is not the child who is wanting to do something or to tell something or to come up something. It is the parents. And there is nothing called getting 60% or 50% or 80%. If a man has got an aptitude, he can always get through. So passing an exam is not an important. He has to be told that there are a lot of people who are passing examinations with first class first and they are not doing well because they do not have the ability to do well. Whereas you with a third class or 60 or 50% mark can do well provided you have got the right ways of getting into things. It is we have to encourage him to say that there is nothing wrong. There is no parameter or fixed meters which we can set for any person to do. Yes, we can always tell him that you should do well, you should have a good degree, but we should not say that if this is not achieved, then you are gone. I cannot accept the fact that you can have this. I will be completely in shame if you do this. My mother would not be able to face the society if you do this. These kinds of sermons I have heard from the most generous families, big families which I have had association with. And their children in Pune Engineering College have done suicides because the mother has been able to say that your father has been always a good student, and I cannot tell my society that you have been doing so bad. So
Thank
in my case, my father was always a first class first from the Calcutta University. I was never doing well in my schools. I was more interested in playing hockey. I was more interested in getting into debates and the elocution contests in the schools. And I used to tell my mother always that in a class of 32, if I am 15, mother, there are 16 people who are behind me. Why do you worry? It was me who used to give him the positive thing. I never used to feel bad that I am 15th and my own sisters were there, they are number 2. Never had a comparison because I was sure of the fact that I had certain things like my ability to debate, my ability to converse, my ability to present. I was the school captain. I was the fellow who used to do. I had some things which they had not. So you should be very clear of the balance sheet of your own capacities. If a fellow is not careful about calculating the balance sheet of his assets and liabilities, he cannot do well. And knowing and doing well is a question of how much time you deploy in your hours in studying and getting into it. And later on, when it came to the later years of life, when it comes to the school exams type, there we put in a lot of labor, a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, and we did well and we topped. So my point is that mind is such a malleable thing. It is a malleable thing. It is like wax. More you hit, the more the drops. If you do not hit, it gets blocked. So hit up at the right time. But do not try to always hit up and always be in a momentum of hit that you don't get at all peace of mind. That's my point.
Thank you so much, sir. One more question I had. You very beautifully also quoted that our mind is like a canvas which we should not let any other painter paint on. So, sir, how important is it for the youth to have an independent thinking in today's world and also to tackle the situation? Sir, most of the youth lives dependent on our parents. So how difficult is it and how to tackle the situation where our parents force us to choose one particular career path when we know that that is not the right thing for us or we have our interest in something else? So how to tackle that situation, sir?
I call it an interior brain chemical reaction of a boy. Like in chemistry, there is a chemical reaction when you put some solvents in a laboratory. So these chemical reactions, they start taking place. The best way is that probably the child may not be telling the right thing and the parents are also not on the right track. But the boy or the girl should be able to tell the parents that I am going to assure you of a particular dividend in my life if I take this career, and I'm going to add glory to the family, I am going to add glory to your own on your setup. It is not necessarily by only standing first and getting unemployed because I do not get a job and I fail all interviews. You want me to join that route, or you want me to join a place where I would be able to show off my own things and I will be able to get things faster than the others, because and so fellows who have done so well, these people are all languishing, and there is a lot of depression in their houses. A man who could be sold at 40,000 rupees a month, he is being sold today at 5,000, 10,000 rupees a month. This is what you want me to do? So that kind of entire galvanizing the mind and mobilizing his capacity to talk to the parent with conviction, with determination, has to be there to see that the entire mindset of the parents is broken. And once the mindset of the parents is broken and he is at peace with the parents at home, he is able to conquer the mountains next day. The problem is happening because the mindset is setting you not happening at home itself. And we are not in a position to see that we are able to get out of this mindset because we are not able to convince ourselves, and we are not having the courage of conviction to say that. Like my son, I'll tell you. My son, I don't want to be quoted. My son told me that I have seen you working from morning to night. When I get up, you are not there at home. And when I go to sleep, you are. I will be in some district as collector, and I will not be able to be at home. So hardly we meet like we are strangers in the house at fixed hours on holidays. This is not the life I would like to have, like you. Number one. And number two, you are governed by a set of fools, because these politicians are the set of fools who do not have the qualification. There is no pre-qualification to become a politician. Whereas government has fixed a qualification that you will complete a test, and then after the test you will get into service, and then you will go for a training. And this kind of things are not there. So why the hell I would be like to be governed by a set of fools? And why not I will be able to do something well in a way where I will be. So he went for the nanotech engineering. But his conviction, I liked his conviction. I never wanted him. Had I wanted him, no, you join a civil service, get into civil service, you probably would have got it. But his mind was not like that, because he would not like accept the sermons and advice of a person who is inferior in knowledge setup. He is not a person. And therefore, every day there will be clash. And he will get into some problems. He will get into some kind of a backlash in the government system. And then he will blame me. I was telling my father, I don't wanted to get it. You got my point. You got my point, what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
That is exactly the thing. So I allowed him a free mind to develop in him. Similarly, for my daughter, she wanted to become a doctor. But they said there is no one in the doctor's family in our house. And she is very good at doctors. She's a caring person. She's a nurse. She nurses the patients well. And if she goes for it, nothing like it. There is no hard and fix that this is best and this is not the best. In fact, the reverse theory of the triangle says the best of the people in a class, they get into the service. The less better of the class, they get into the commercial or the chartered accountants or the bankers. The rest of the people who do not do well, these people, they get into the politicians. And the worst of the people who never do get, they become gundas. So the gundas, they and the reverse theory says the gundas, they help the politicians. The politicians, they master the administrators, and the administrators, they control the. So the triangle is reversed. You got my point, what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir.
So this is one good theory of telling. This is a very nice way of convincing a fellow that if you don't want to go for a particular line, this is what is happening. But you must be sure of what you are doing. You must be sure of what you are achieving. You must be sure of your content. You must be sure of what is your composition. See, there are certain books who impress you by titles, but there is no content in it. And there are certain books which surprise you by no very good titles, but by its composition and its content. It is only after you read a book, then you find that the title that does match the composition. There are certain films which are broadcasted so well and advertised so well, but when you go, it's a flop. And there are certain films which are not broadcasted, but people, they see twice, thrice at a time. So it all depends how you are. So you have to develop that individual way of thinking, and you have to be convinced about it, and it needs little bit of a mentoring. The mentoring has to be very strong, and that is where exactly we are lagging. Either a guide in the form of a brother or a teacher or a neighbor or parents has to be there. And in case we get into a wrong route, then it's a problem.
Thank you so much, sir. And sir, I'm very sure that some of our young minds would also be really hoping to have a chance to ask you a few questions. So,
Sure,
with
sure,
your permission, shall I invite them, sir?
sure.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fine, fine. You are from which college?
I'm Navya, sir. I'm a second year student pursuing
From?
BCom Honors from Daulat Ram College, University of Delhi.
Acha, same college. Okay,
Sir.
okay.
Okay, sir. So my question to you is, what are the best ways in which a leader like you can support other leaders?
Support other leaders means other people who need leadership or already leaders there.
Already leaders, like
See,
your
I give leadership is a leader is one who thinks, he says, and he does. So there is a communication line between what he is thinking, what he is doing, what he is speaking, and what he is doing. One. Number two, he cares for the people with whom he works. He understands each one of them by his own pulses. He is not distant from any one of them. He calls them by name. People are drawn to him because of his heart and head, both. These are the qualities of a leader. If such a leader is there, and such number of leaders are multiplied, probably there should be no problem at all in that environment. If the problem is there of those people who are not being led, or I'm not saying that leader remains a leader forever. A leader may be for a short while. A leader may be for in the family. A leader is one who is a model, a role model. A leader is one who is able to come for a short model. But he should have the patience, the ability, the leadership to see that he is convinced by his own things, not that he imposes on him. And therefore, he should be able to walk through in his own mind. It's a walkway in his mind. He will take him as his Guruji. He will take him as a person who means good for him, and he will do everything for him. I will not say blinded, but he will say but guided. So if such people are there, and there are some other leaders who are also there, probably they can have a more of decentralized ways of working to see that all the shortcomings of the people with whom they are working, they're all rectified and they're all put into right place. And corrective interventions are done to see that all of them are on the right foot. This should be not a problem.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Navya. I hope your question has been answered.
It was lovely interacting with you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have Jocelyn Sandra, sir. She's from Tamil Nadu.
Okay. Yeah, Jocelyn, tell me.
Yes, greetings of the day, sir.
Thank you.
I'm Jocelyn, sir. I'm from Tamil Nadu. I'm
Where
a
from?
student of Stella Maris College. Yes, sir.
You are from Chennai?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm from Stella Maris College and I'm pursuing my BSc Physics second year, sir.
Very good. Very nice college. Very nice college.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So
my daughter studied in MMC, Madras Medical College.
Wow, that's great, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. My question is, what do you think about online presence, sir? I mean, how important it can be.
Online
Presence.
for
So,
online presence for what? For on which occasions or for what?
related to businesses and authorities.
Yeah. See, the online thing which is there in thing has it has done one good thing. It has separated that controversy about the working hours. Earlier we had a concept that I have got 9 hours of working, and then after 5 o'clock to get lost, buddy, I am going.
Okay.
Yeah, so that concept is now no longer there. You are now every time on online, you are caught. There's a need, we'll catch you. So that affinity with the company or the affinity with the business cannot be separated on grounds that I am no longer in office. Even if I'm in car or in restaurant and there's a need, buddy, I have to be contacted.
Okay.
So online has given the benefit, basically, catching him straight, hours of work and the wastages of electricity, power, and the other overhead costs which normally go with the office functioning. And at the same time, because they work from home, they say that because you are working from home, so therefore we are giving you a little bit of a less cuts in the pay. In some companies are also doing. I don't know what is happening in the US, but in India, in some places, they are, I think, reducing the offtake or the carry home by 10-20%. So the companies are the biggest beneficiaries of the entire online thing.
Okay.
But the disadvantages of the online is that this man has lost his privacy. This man is always at the behest of these people. They may need in him. And those who are in the emergency things like in heterological investigations or in the aeronautics and other, those online people, they are always at 24/7. Those who are doing a banking business, they may not be needed on Saturdays and Sundays. But if you are an online fellow, you will be always available. You have to be available, and the instruction is that you will be always available with a small WhatsApp call or a message to be on online. This is happening. It has also brought in more closeness at home, in the sense that those who had lost the beauties of home and the association with the children, because of their online presence at home, they are compelled to stay at home. And because they are compelled to stay at home, their associational membership in the house has increased in multiples in terms of either children or mother, or if he's a bachelor with the mother and father, if he's married with the children and his wife. So it has given access to the families. This is number 2. And number 3 is that the online presence also has led to more of calculative business models, in the sense, in the office he could not attend to certain things because of so many convergent and divergent calls and the priorities which were there at that point of time. But here, when he is given something to work on, that you do a presentation on a project which will be sold in, let's say, Taiwan. So now he has got sufficient enough, he has to refer to so many things to see that he prepares a better one. So the quality of his presentation and quality of his work has to be a little better, and he will be judged by the amount of time and attention he has given in preparing it, which probably he could have escaped at office, because a lot of people used to do it along with him. So these are the online and offline thing. But over a period of time, I think it will be a hybrid model that will be better. You can say that 3 days we can have online and 4 days or 3 days I can have offline. I call it a hybrid model of appearance. So he will be 3 days in the office. Mentally, he can tell his children that I am 3 days in office, but and the next 3 days he will be online. He may come, he may not come. It's a chance, but he is available online. So it makes him also glued to his home. So he is chained on both ways. On one chain, right hand is chained to office, left hand is chained to his home. Any more? Any other thing?
Yeah, sir, yes, Jocelyn, I hope your question is answered. So we had one last question from Tanushka. She's from Kolkata.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. It is an honor to be speaking with you this evening. I'm Tanushka Datta. I'm an English honor student from Loreto College, Calcutta University. And being a literature student, my question this evening would be your book, Dams, the Little Paradise of India. What inspired you to write the book?
See, there is a book which I wrote actually very late in my life because I started collecting a lot of photographs and pictures. To be very frank, I started loving the people of Dangs as if they are a part of my own house. Because I like good things, the very certain good things are there in a tribal which are not there. And I have developed, if possible, I'll give it to Ashwin, you may please circulate. I have given six similarities between an American and a person in Dangs. I have discovered. I can tell you, summing up, I will do like this. See, the Americans, they like fast food because they like fast food because they don't have time. Either ladies are not interested in cooking, or they are very, there is a lot of drudgery, or there is a lot of, उसको क्या बोलते हैं, आलस है. They are very, they are not interested in cooking. So therefore, they go out and have fast food. The tribals, they take fast food, not because they are like that, but because they don't have time to cook, because they're always at the work site. So they take, वहाँ वो लोग सेक लेते हैं. They start having that that fire, the fire is there, and they take achar from their houses or these onions, लसन का garlic achar लेके जाते हैं, वहाँ उसको सेक के, like you do the rotis at home, they do it in the jungles or at the workplaces. So that is also fast food. Number two, the Americans, they like to wear embellished dresses like three-piece suits, to see that they're impressed. You will see when the tribals, they come, they also put what you call the coatis. They're all embroidered handicrafts things, they put it as a coati. And the more the embroidery, more the handsome the person is supposed to look. That is a feeling in them. You may feel kya wo lagta hai, but they feel that they are handsome. So that's the second feeling. These people, they lead, they like a lot of guns. Every American house, you will see a gun. So they don't have guns, but they have got bow and arrow. Every child, every girl, every female, every male has to know bow and arrow. And they say, ki aam todne ka hai, you put this mango out of the tree by bow and arrow. I've seen them, I've lived with them. So I compared that thing. So they said that you shoot this fellow, they'll say they shoot this fruit. The third. Fourth is that these people are good in window shopping. They go to the malls, they do walking so that they work out. At the same time, they buy only one razor blade, or some fellows who get either underwears or some other things, and they come out. So whole day they waste 4 hours and they take 2 products. But that's called window shopping. They know what has happened, which kind of Apple has come, which kinds of Sony music has come. They all try to know from that thing. Here the tribals, they go for a weekly heart. Every tribal area has got a weekly heart. And that weekly hearts are all spread out from one place to other. Today it is in place A, after next week it will place B, next week it will place C, next week it will place D. So what they do, these females, males from the adjoining 7 kilometers, they go, they congregate, they chit-chat, they discuss social economic issues, and the whole day they spend matrimonial, social, and finally when they go home, you will see on the left hand they would be taking one murgi, and the right hand they will be taking haldi. So I asked them, itna din, itna pura gaya, the whole day you spent. He said what was needed was that we needed a murgi because they wanted to have a chicken at home. And they wanted some spices also at the home. So they could have taken it within 1 hour. But they did window shopping. And also they started what you call in America we have got the living relationships. Probably they have copied it from all tribals. Tribals, they believe in bride price. If you are a tribal and a tribal boy is wanting to marry you, think for a minute. He has to give you a tribal bride price. And if he is too poor to give you a bride price, he will work in your house to see that the labor is adjusted in that bride price. Do you know about it? And here we are talking of dowry debts. But they marry as a matter of ritual, but they start staying together as a matter of relationship with the consent of the community. And that is called what you call the ghotuls. That's in Ranchi, it is called ghotuls. In Dang, it is called half pen. And if the marriage is concretized, it's called full pen. So half pen becomes full pen. And I wrote in my article that I compare it with a marriage which I saw myself, my own eyes in Sweden, where I happened to go as a member of the electricity board in 1999, 98, with the ABB company chairman, Asian Brown Boveri, one of the biggest suppliers of electricity. He was around 68. That time I was, I think, 42 years of age, 44. So I saw a lot of cars. I asked him, sir, why are so many cars are there? He said, there is a marriage. I said, whose marriage? My marriage. Well, you are already too old to marry. He said, no, that was left out. My grandchildren told me that ritual has not been completed. So therefore, I am marrying today. So for them, the marriage was a ritual. But relationship with the lady, children out of him, and grandchildren out of him was a practical thing which we saw. There I immediately thought that these people in Dangs and these people in Sweden you say that, oh, there is they live, and here you curse at them saying that no, that's not good. So my point is that I have compared these facets of life. And I said that there is a similarity between their things. Who has copied from where, we don't know. So, but you have to start living and loving them. They love me. And you will not believe, I feel happy in the fact that most of the homes in Dangs, they have a photograph of mine. And even if I am retired now, they say, who is he? They say, collector. They have no expression of secretary, additional chief secretary, advisor. They don't know these posts. He कौन है? ये हमारा collector है. So my people who go visit बोला कि सर आप कितना दिन collector रहेंगे? मैंने बोला till the time they love me. So there is in the Ashwini communities there is an absolute trust. I remember a lady collector called Mamta Barma who was with me. I was the guardian secretary of the district. I had gone to a Will King. And Will King name was, I think, Bhavani Singh. He was the man whose father's father, means four fathers, they had fought the Britishers, and Britishers never could capture that area. So I told, how is your wife, Santa Ben? So I straight away walked into the house and I saw two ladies, like in the films you see the women, with the daggers, they stand like this, no? And they allow you to go. I saw two very dark ladies, Bhil ladies, they're standing at her room. The moment I went, they took off those things and I went inside. And they wear, what do they wear? They wear this keen kind of things on the top and their embroidered cloth on the below the belt. So I discussed with her. I talked to her. She says, "What will you have?" I said, "Ki papad khayenge." Nagli is a millet which they have. And I came back within 5 minutes and then sat down. The lady collector was prompted by me, saying that, "Sir, आप कहाँ गए थे?" मैंने बोला, "Mrs. Bhavani Singh, शांता बहन को मिलने के लिए." बोला, "सर मैं भी आ जाऊंगी, मैं भी देख के आता हूँ." She was stopped. She said, "I am the collector." बोला कि नहीं, भवानी सिंह के वाइफ आपको जानते नहीं हैं. She went back. She was a lady. And Bhavani Singh said कि नहीं वो लेके आया, उसको वाइफ को इंट्रोड्यूस किया, then she was allowed to there. So there has to be a trust between you and the person to whom we are interacting. It doesn't matter whether you're female or a male, they have to have trust in you. So that incident I always tell, I said that you a female, see female, it did not work out. That logic did not work out there. Because she does not know you. She doesn't know you, she will not meet you. If she knows you, she will meet you at any place. So that trust has to be developed over the years. And that is what is very interesting in my life. And I loved that place. And therefore, I thought of writing everything beginning from history into their cultural modes, their functions, their music, their dresses, the entire their martial art, their dance styles, the ways these people they live, how do they consume food which is having no cholesterol at all, full of calcium. They don't copy or Western things or gehu and chawal. They have their own lal rice. What is that lal rice? The lal rice is nothing but little reddish in color, and it contains vitamin A. We got it tested in National Institute of Nutrition, Hyderabad. So what they are consuming is vitamin A. What they are consuming in millet is nothing but calcium. So you cannot say that they don't know science. These biological sciences are known to them, but we call them tribals. So, but they are the people who never fell sick during the COVID. Not a single fellow died during the COVID. Not a single fellow. And that is how I was telling Ashwin that I carried all those things like this Silajit, the Ashwagandha, the Satavari, the Giloi. I took from these districts. This is a processing industry. I started there as a pharmacy. I employed them there. They are the people who are making good money, but they are the people who are consuming it. That kada, the system of kada, which became very famous, is nothing but something introduced in their district where they put black pepper, they put loving, cloves, they put little bit of ashwagandha, they put little bit of lindi people, and also they put little bit of tulsi, and they make the powder, and that powder is consumed. That gives you a lot of, that is a bronchodilator, that opens up the bronchus material in your lungs, officially, technically. But they take it. You cannot say that they do not know it. They take it. How they take it? If you ask them the science, they don't know, but they take it. And we take all kinds of things, churchura, murmura. We take churchura, murmura products which are sold in the open markets, and we get into problems because it's fully all saturated, polysaturated fat oils. So that is why I'm saying that I loved them, I lived them with them, and I found that there is something great about them which is not discovered. So I wrote about them.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Tanushka. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time for us from your busy schedule and for delivering such an inspiring speech and talking to us. I would now invite our National General Secretary, Mr. Ankit Soni, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you.
A very good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, first of all, I'm really honored that I was right here when you gave out such inspiring words. All the answers you answered and your speech, including the last one where you talked about your book, it was really inspiring. And the way you, the point of view you have towards life and towards the world, it's really breathtaking for youngsters like us. So, on behalf of Youth India Foundation, I am delighted to get an opportunity for listening to these inspiring words. I would like to thank you for sparing your valuable time for gracing this occasion, and we are grateful to have you had this opportunity. I'm very sure that your association with our organization will help every single member of this family of around 8,000 members to achieve their heights in their career, and will definitely will be in your path as well of leadership.
Thank you. I would be Ankit and Ashwin. I would be more interested in addressing and solving the issues of some few people whom you can collect, who have not been able to find answers to their issues in their own life, and they are young people. If they are with me, 100%, I would be able to get the satisfaction that I have been able to make some. I cannot add the years to the life, but I will add some life to their years.
That's wonderful. So we'll try our best. If you wish to, then we'll definitely be done.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, after hearing sir's words of wisdom, I guess it's time again to call upon a recreational event. Now, in the form of a wonderful and graceful dance from our very own Youth India Foundation members. So what is the wait? Let's bring this on. with this wonderful dance performance, I think it's now time for us to conclude this event. So now, I, on behalf of all the organizers and the whole Youth India family, would like to thank all of you for your presence in this wonderful webinar. We really hope that you had a fun time here. If yes, then I would like to request all of you to follow the organization on all of our social media handles, as well as do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you all again with another wonderful and exciting event. Thank you so much.